Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Tiffany Gunning, and I am from Deakin University in Australia. I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of all the unceded lands, skies, and waterways on which Deakin students and teachers come together. I pay my deep respect to their elders and ancestors, as well as the traditional custodians of all the lands on which you may be learning and teaching at the moment, and where education has taken place for many thousands of years. I am currently located in Wadawurrung country in Australia, in Victoria, which certainly has got us started with a particularly chilly day this morning. At Deakin, we have a strong focus on preparing our graduates for the world of work and for their lifelong learning. I'm fortunate to be part of a team who are implementing a multifaceted employability guiding plan across our faculty, and today I'll provide an overview of that component, which is authentic assessment. So this is a 2-year-long project, and we're in our final 8 months at the moment, and my KPIs include scaffolding authentic assessment tasks across 3 touch points in every undergraduate course that we offer. And our faculty provides courses across the sciences, engineering, architecture and construction management, and IT. So prior to embarking on this project, I was privileged to work with a small team on defining what authentic assessment is and how it was interpreted by our colleagues in the School of Life and Environmental Sciences. Our outcomes became the basis for the current authentic assessment project that I'm working on. So after extensive consultation with our colleagues, we came to rest on an agreed definition of authentic assessment, and then we developed a tool underpinned by targeted questions to, 1, measure authenticity of a task, and 2, to support our academics' understanding of the agreed definition. We also advocated for a change in language from the term soft skills to transferable skills as a mean to raise the importance of those skill sets. Quite often we found that academics referred to their discipline-specific skills as the hard skills, with the implication that the soft skills were not quite as important. So we aim to change this mindset, and we aim to develop our academics' understanding of just how vital these transferable skills are for our graduates. Indeed, with the future world of work being unknown, the term 21st century skills is becoming quite popular to describe these transferable skills. This will prepare our graduates for this future challenge. We actually took it one step further, and we've actually begun referring to these transferable skills as transferable employability skills to make that explicit link for students. So I want to firstly acknowledge the work of Madeline Schultz, Karen Young, and Michelle Harvey, who worked with me on this project. So the agreed definition that we came up with for authentic assessment is that authentic assessment requires students to engage with a problem or task that is contextualized within a realistic environment and assesses the knowledge, skills, and attitudes required in workplaces, community, and for lifelong learning. So the tool that we created underpinned this particular assessment definition, and there are 4 key attributes. So the first one that we ask ourselves is, is this task done in the world of work? Is it actually done in a workplace? Is it realistic? Does it require the application of skills, knowledge, and attributes that are explicitly linked to the world of work and lifelong learning? Secondly, we look to see if the assessment task has industry partner involvements in the design, the delivery, the feedback, for example, where students are able to directly engage with industry. Thirdly, we look to see if there are marks allocated to the transferable employability skills that we're focusing students' attention on. So not just those discipline-specific skills, but those transferable skills that can be shown within the context of the discipline. Lastly, we do look at the structure of the assessment overall. So is the task open-ended? Do students have a level of autonomy? Is there some sort of rubric provided that has contextualized levels? Are there opportunities for students to do self-assessment and reflection? And I do acknowledge that all the things that I've just mentioned then would potentially be just considered good practice, not specifically authentic assessment. But we believe they are important enough to highlight this to our academics. So step 2 was to actually start to create assessment tasks so that we could share this information with academics and engage them in the project. So I'm going to take you through a couple of our examples just to show you how we've done that. So the first example that I have here is one that is based in teamwork, basically. So we have constraints associated with our courses, and obviously that guides part of our design planning. But we did choose to use team-based tasks for several reasons in this project. So teamwork continues to be a well-recognised graduate employability skill. It's often ranked in the top 3 essential skills to global employers. We also acknowledge that the World Economic Forum has identified 16 essential skills that students need to develop for the 21st century workplace, and it has highlighted collaboration and communication as critical competencies. Teamwork is also underpinned by a suite of interpersonal, personal and technical skills that enables us as educators to focus our students' attention across a spectrum of skills. So as shown here, we have a group task that has been broken into 2 parts. So we have an early time point, which is usually has a lower weight associated with it when it comes to the assessment, and then a final part of that group assessment, which has the bulk of the weight associated with it. We try to build in some form of oral validation into that task as well as a reflection component for students to be able to demonstrate their self-management in this space. So one of the things that we acknowledge when it comes to working in team-based assessments is it can be difficult to manage. And we often hear from students that, team tasks can be unfair. So what we've been doing for several years now is collaborating with FeedbackFruits, and we've developed a strategy using their group member evaluation tool to support the management of team-based assessments. We have a paper that's due to be released in July now in the International Journal of Technology in Higher Education. And basically what we're showing in this is a case study that we've worked on over several years that shows that self and intra-team peer assessment in our faculty has provided teaching teams with evidence of student engagement, as well as enabling students to hold each other accountable within the task. It's also a strategy that can be paired with any team-based assessment. So thus it provided us with a consistent way to engage academics across our faculty in a consistent strategy to engage and manage team-based assessments. We often underpin our authentic assessments with rubrics that are a little bit different to what we would normally see. So we've moved away from the HDDCP type situation, and we're using 4-level rubrics that make explicit links to the world of work and basically mimic the way that graduates will be assessed when they get into the world of work. So the example that we've shown here, it's basically, you're an industry-ready team member. So that's an aspirational, contextualized level. Our minimum standard, which is highlighted in green, is valued team member. And then obviously we have the underperforming team member and not a team member. So this is another example of a team task that we're currently working in with the Authentic Assessment project. So we have several teams that are already working with team-based learning, and what we're doing in the next trimester coming up is moving them from a paper-based model into an online model. So using FeedbackFruit again, using their team-based learning model. And what we're showing on the screen here is that we're giving students a couple of opportunities to develop their skills in this space before we actually associate marks with their outcomes. And again, there's always an opportunity for a reflection task at the end. So where we're sitting currently is that we're coming to the end of first trimester, which is where we've trialed our authentic assessment tasks, and we're currently collecting information to help inform what we do in our next trimester. And so far we have implemented authentic assessment across 6 core subjects, which hit first, second and third year subjects. And we're preparing now for trimester 2, where we're covering, I think it's about another 8 to 10 subjects, so that we're slowly building up to that total of 23 subjects that we need to have authentic assessment applied to, so that we've met our KPIs. We have put a priority on first year subjects, obviously, so that at the start of next year, our first years will experience the second year level of that. But we're not narrowing our focus to just these 3 touch points in every course. What we're hoping to do is spread the love and hope for some additional units to come on board in this space, because we do have a number of subjects who are looking for alternatives to exams now. And so authentic assessment gives us an opportunity to engage those academics. Something that was really important as we were talking to academics was to ensure that we had a consistent language to talk to them about, and so they could talk to their students. And we were lucky to engage an industry partner in this space, and she's a student that works with Deakin, and she actually created some resources for our use. So she's created the infographic that you can see on the screen here, and she also created a video, and these 2 resources are put into every unit that has authentic assessment in it. So it gives the teachers resources to talk to, and it keeps everybody on the same key message. And so we were really excited to have the opportunity of a student creating resources for other students. If that's the end of my presentation, and I thank you for listening. If you have any questions or you'd like to discuss any aspect of this presentation, please don't hesitate to email me on my address shown on the screen. And I hope you have a lovely conference.